Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is KACEE. I wanted to do a reading today about navigating a narcissist. You guys have been so wonderful about opening up your stories to me, whether it's the comments or the emails. You know, I really think that I'm getting to know you guys pretty well. In the last series of readings I did for August, there was a lot of narcissistic energy. And I think that you guys resonated with that, as tough as that is, that really sparked something for me, because I am a survivor of a narcissistic relationship myself. So I completely understand how hard these energies are to navigate when you're either married to this person, it's your parent, it's your sibling, it can even be your own child. And I thought it would be a good idea to get some information from Spirit to see how they want us to navigate this. What is the best course in regards to navigating a narcissist? You know, they do so much damage to the people around them because they're missing something. There's a void that has to be filled, and they fill it with their own wants, their needs, and their anger because they can't understand why we feel so good about certain things. Most of you guys are light workers. You're definitely empaths, and if you've been in a narcissistic relationship, don't ever doubt that you're empathic, because that is what they zone in on. They zone in on our empathy. We will want to take care of them and help fix them and heal them and do whatever it is that we can do to bring them out of their despair. But what we fail to realize is that 9 times out of 10, they want to stay in that despair because it is comfortable to them. They know it, they get what they want out of it. They're not happy with something deep down inside, and it may have to do with a childhood trauma. It may have to do with a mental illness or a combination of mental illnesses that narcissism can come about. So as you guys know, I'm not a doctor. I have a regular 9 to 5. I am not in the healing medical field, and I'm not a psychiatrist, but I've lived it, and I had to put my life back together again. And I feel that if we draw some cards from Spirit, that they can give us some inspiration and some guidance as to what they want us to do in regards to taking care of this person, walking away from this person, but most importantly, how we take care of ourselves. And the most important thing we need to realize is that the narcissist will want to keep us away from like-minded people, our family, our friends, communities where we can get knowledge and we can raise ourselves back up and have our self-worth back, so that we can deal with them on a level playing field where they don't always have the advantage, because they don't want to be called out. They don't want anyone to know what they do behind closed doors, what they say. You know, some of the situations can be very violent, and if you are in a violent situation, reach out for help immediately. Do not wait. Call the police, move out, do what you have to do. Protect yourself and your family at all times. Now, I'm going to pull a couple of cards, and I am going to pull advice and challenges first. And I really didn't think about this spread before I decided to turn on the camera, so I apologize if I get a little choppy. I'm kind of just winging the layout for you guys, but I felt it was important to get a reading up and kind of open up our line of communication. Well, we have base chakra, guys, and the base chakra is our root chakra, and this is where we feel safe. Well, when we're in this kind of energy and we're dealing with these people, we don't feel safe because we have no idea what they're going to do. We have no idea what they're going to say. You know, you're walking on eggshells whenever they enter the room or whenever they call. You know, I know that I would go into a panic attack when this person would text me or call me, because I never knew what the message was going to be. And it was usually something dire or dramatic or threats of some sort. And it gets really hard to kind of keep yourself in the zone, but they're trying to come at us and they're trying to weaken us in our foundation. And that is something that we need to make sure that we're very safe within our environment. Of course, like I just mentioned, if you're not safe, you need to get out. but also safe within our self-worth, and have that foundation that we know we can take it on. We know that it may be hard financially, but we can pay the bills and take care of the kids, and whatever comes up, we can do it. And that's one thing that they chip away at us, and we have to address that right away. We have to know that what they say to us is not really who we are inside. Wisdom. Well, guys, the more we go through it and the more challenges they put in front of us, we become very wise to their games. We become very wise to their habits and their cycles. I don't know if you guys have a particular cycle with this person, whether it's once a month, once every 3 months, you know, something always comes up on, at least in my case, it was on a regular basis. It was like, no kidding, it was the full moon. I'll just put that out there. And I had a close friend that her husband suffered from this same situation, and we charted them, and it was always on the full moon, either right before or right after, but it was on the full moon time. And when the full moon came up every month, we just kind of held on to find out what kind of drama or trauma they're going to pull for their entertainment. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm not even kidding. Third eye chakra. Use your intuition when you navigate. Okay, do as much research as you can. Join the narcissistic groups on Facebook. Listen to the YouTube videos of people that have advice in this, you know, real professionals, you know, psychiatrists and psychologists, and, you know, get their take on it, because that is how I got to the point where I am now, that I'm more comfortable speaking my truth. A lot of you guys are not at that point yet, but it's important that you start to speak your truth, because if they didn't want people to know how they act behind closed doors, they wouldn't be in such a threat mode with you guys, because they're trying to control the situation through fear. And, you know, that was the one thing, is no one wants to be exposed as a narcissist, you know, but when people witness what's going on and you have more voices to their actions, they shouldn't have acted that way in the first place. So their actions are on them, and your actions are on you. And if you do what they call gray rock and not respond and don't give them any emotion, don't make eye contact, it drives them bananas, and they will do anything that they can to get a rise out of you, because then they've completed their mission. Then they have some, you know, self-worth. And it's weird. They get self-worth by seeing us shake and crack. And for some reason, that is what drives them. That's what their source is. That's what their energy pull is. Heartache and loss. Yeah, it goes deep. It really, really does. You know, if you're married to this person and you were married for a long time and you didn't see this coming, or it was little bits of red flags as the years went on, like in my case, you know, you don't see it until it's fully in your lap, and you kind of ignore it. Bad day here, you know, crappy boss there, whatever the case, and you make excuses like any normal person would, right? Because no one's happy all the time. But when this was a repetitive pattern, you know, you have to actually grieve the person that they used to be, and grieve the person that you thought they were. And it really hurts, because they're running around being a completely different person, doing all kinds of things, because you know that when they get into this zone and they've really lost the battle with the good side of themselves, and this is the only side that you see, they're doing all kinds of things. They're spending money, they're cheating, they're abusive, they speak ill about you, so they become the victim, and other people are saying, well, why are you doing this and that to them? And it, you know, and it goes through all different kinds of ways and all different kinds of relationships. You know, if this is a family member, it may go through the family that, you know, you blocked them on Facebook and how horrible, and they really need you and you're cutting them out. However, they don't know the other side of the story, and you don't really want to tell them, because, you know, either they're not going to believe you, they may judge your situation, and then just becomes this whole thing. I totally get it, and you don't have to like speak, but be with people that will really understand what it's like to be dealing with a narcissist, because normal people who don't deal with narcissists have no idea what kind of crazy goes on behind closed doors. And they had, because they've never experienced it. I mean, if someone came up and explained all this stuff to you and you did not experience it in your personal life, you would think that they were either exaggerating or something is just not right until you live this. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I completely understand. And that's where you get help through these groups and be able to expand and at least vent to confidants who aren't going to go running around and telling them, because they don't have a motive. They're going to listen, they're going to give advice, they're going to be able to kind of let you talk it out a little bit. And that's what you need around a group of supportive people that understand. So with that said, I am going to go ahead and pull some energy cards and then some regular tarot. Spirit wants you to know that you're not alone. You're not crazy. The things that have happened have really happened. I used to keep a journal, date it, and time it. Angel of Strength. This is to tell you that you are surrounded and protected while you're going through this. The angels know how hard this is for you. They understand how devastated you are, and that you, for some of you, may be at the rock bottom place. A lot of us are on different levels of healing, and some of you are just starting to awaken to the fact of who this person really is. And that is really hard. That is the heartache and loss. That's when you realize what's really going on. And know that you are strong, you're supported by the angels, and that you can get through this. You have to follow the correct steps. Of course, I always advocate no contact if you can, because that way they can't get into your head. We have adjacent possibilities. Now, this can run two ways for me, so I'm going to pull another card. Yeah. All right. Okay. The reason why this is all clicking is because for me, adjacent possibilities in this layout is that they're going to try to give you some illusions. They're going to be all caring and loving and what can I do, and pay your bills and remodel your kitchen and work on your car and take the kids school shopping, whatever it is that they think that you need at the time. They will be more than happy to help. But it's an illusion. It's for you to put your guard down and trust them again, so that they can take a little leverage. I guess I want to say they can leverage it up a little bit for their benefit, because then they can turn around and be like, well, I did this for you and I did that for you. The thinking man, when in the spread, he can be very conniving. He's very, very smart. He's very charming. He's very knowledgeable. He knows you inside and out. Now, this is not a gender thing, but this is sometimes when this comes out in different layers, when I do for the monthlies or private readings, depending on how this is surrounding, this can be someone that's a little shady. They're very conniving, and they know what to say. They know how to get their way. So when you give them an out, or actually let them in, and give them another chance because they're crying and they're so sorry and they're going to change, and then they try for like 2-3 weeks, and then you start to see them slip. And their real selves are coming out because they're not doing the work. They're not going to get the intense therapy that they need or the medication that they need. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing 110%. I'm not saying that they don't want to get better, but when you see the red flags coming back and they're not taking their meds, they're not going to see their doctor, then that's when you know that they're not really trying. And they're trying to connive and be able to manipulate the situation. And as long as they have leverage on you, they will use it to their best advantage, and they'll twist it in 100 different ways where you start to think that maybe you actually did it. And you know very well that you didn't, but they really do a number on your psyche, because and I don't know if they're like born this way, something's happened to them, it's a chemical imbalance when they get a certain age. I really don't know. I do know that it can be very intense. Sorry, guys. We had a card drop before I went to shuffle, and it comes up as death in reverse. They don't want to change. They can't move on. They can't do that. They can't do what is necessary. It's like there was a time in their life that they could have chosen the right path or the wrong path. And for some reason, they chose that wrong path. And that is where they want to stay, because they're getting something out of it, whether it's from you or somebody else. But instead of working on themselves, And instead of trying to be a better person, like, when we find that there's something that we are doing wrong, we try to correct it. We try to educate ourselves. We try to do whatever it is, because at this point now you know it's wrong and you don't want to do it again. They know what they're doing is wrong. They're making a conscious choice to do that. And because they're not empathic and we are, they're trying to take that away from us. That they're trying to take what we have naturally and fill a void, because they haven't done the work to be empathic to other people and have understanding for where people are right now in their struggles, and give them a leg up when they need it. And they may show you that they can do that, but it can't be on a regular basis, because in the end it's always about them. They want the gratitude. They want something out of it. We're real empathic people. 9 times out of 10 are just helping you because they want to help you, and that is how we are building our community, from, the tarot to being, helpful in the grocery store, to whatever it is that you do personally. You're helping other people because you know what it's like to not have, what it's like to be struggling. When there's an older person trying to get in the store, you hold the door open for them. A narcissistic person, unless he was showing off and wanting to show his best face, would just walk in right past the old person and not think twice about it, because it's all about them. You see them driving in cars all the time. They will do whatever it is that they can do to get around all the other traffic. And I'm not saying that I drive like a grandma, because, that'd be a lie. But you can tell the difference between someone who just does not care and almost causes accidents to someone that's just kind of, trying to get from point A to point B. At least I can tell. And you guys all know I'm from Boston, and you know that I've seen some really bad driving. So here we have Knight of Cups in reverse. This is where we will not get an apology from these people. Okay, they don't have it in them, because they don't know, or they do know, but they consciously don't think that they are doing anything wrong. Deep down inside, they do know, but consciously, they just brush it off. It's no big deal. I don't know why you're so upset. You took that the wrong way. I was just joking. They will blow it off. They will not apologize, or at least give you a sincere apology. Because I've had the situation in regards to, a half sincere apology, and then all these beautiful blessings come in for a little bit, but a leopard doesn't really change his spots, at least in my case. So it's really important for you guys to know the difference between a sincere apology. But I think for most of us that really are dealing with the narcissistic personality disorder, there isn't a true apology. Here we have the 7 of Cups. This is where there's all this illusion in this situation. There's all these new ideas coming and what ifs. If you do this, I can do that. It's always hinged on you doing something for them to lift them up, and then they're going to repay you later, and there really isn't any later. 2 of Swords. This tells me that there's a decision to be made, and there was a decision to be made when they wanted to not do the right thing and not show that really true empathic side. When you follow spirit, you have to give up other things. You have to give up your ego. You have to give up being selfish, and I mean truly selfish. I don't mean I want the last piece of cake selfish. I mean being truly selfish in your core, in your soul. And you have to make that decision. And for a lot of us, it's really not a decision. It's just, of course, I'm going to go the right path. But for some of us that are not as evolved, it really is a decision. They have to think about it. And it really stinks that, but we all have our own journey. And I believe that the reason why I had to go through this is so that I can become even more empathic to other people. Understand a whole lot more than I ever did, because if I stayed in a protected bubble and I didn't have any experiences, I wouldn't be able to read tarot. I wouldn't be able to help people in my everyday life. I would not understand what their trials are. And I would just kind of be numb to whatever it is that they were trying to do. But now, because I've been sensitive my whole life, and I now have this experience behind me, I can help a whole lot more people, and let them know that they're not alone. Just be an ear for them to listen and to vent, and just know that somebody else has already made it through to that particular healing spot, that they feel that they're okay and they're moving on with their life. You know, if I had, you know, support in the earlier times, I don't think it would have lasted so long, but I had support at the right time, and that's made a world of difference. So I'm going to pull some more cards for you guys. We're going to do a couple clarifiers here, and then we'll pull some oracles. So I think Spirit wants us to know that we are good enough, that we need to be strong, we need to be wise, we need to use our intuition, and we have to let go of the heartache and the loss. We have to let go of the hurt so that we can move forward and realize that what they were doing to us does not define us, okay? And you have to realize also that it defines them, and that they will have to answer for this at one point or another, just like we all have to when we do pass over. At least that's what I believe. And we will be able to face how our lives were and be happy with how we conducted ourselves. So we're going to pull some clarifiers. 8 of Wands, new beginnings, new blessings. Oh my gosh, look at this. The High Priestess, using your intuition, seeing things that are hidden. You know, people have hidden agendas. We're going to see through it. We're going to use our chakras. We're going to use our intuition. We're going to branch out and reach out to other people. You know, this can only be healing for us, and as we expand and we speak our truth and we put a voice to what happened, we can help other people, and we can branch out, and we can help heal others that feel the way that we felt back then. Page of Swords in reverse is telling me that there's all talk, no action with this narc, and this energy is not going to be conducive to your healing. You need to cut off communication and go no contact if at all possible, or limited contact. Yes, because 10 of Cups, guys, happy family, happy life. Okay, you can move on from this. You can heal from this. You can get into new relationships. You will have different standards. You will have a lot of boundaries, and the person that you will need to be with needs to be extremely patient and kind and loving, and trust me, they're out there. Not everybody, if this is a personal situation, romantic, not everybody is the same, okay? Regardless if it's a girl or a guy that was the narcissist, there are plenty of great girls and plenty of great guys out there that have gone and learned some lessons in their lifetime and really understand and can be empathic to you in your situation and won't pull the triggers, will avoid the triggers. You know, they will understand when you're having a bad day or something comes up, especially if you have children or family members that you have to deal with that you see on the regular. 8 of Cups, walking away, walking to something, having a plan, knowing where you're going. You guys are going to be able to get through this. You're going to be able to do it with other people. Know that there's a community out there that can help you. If you guys are in this situation, there's a great community on Facebook that I believe it's called Narcissist Awareness Group, and it's a protected group, and it's just everyone sharing stories and getting advice, giving advice, and it's a very protected, loving environment. And it's closely monitored by the admins. I like to give them a shout out because they do a wonderful job. But it's a very nice place to start. Of course, you know, go on the YouTube and look at some videos and read as much as you can. There is so much information out there. Use those tools wisely, guys. Because once you're able to step away from this and move forward, you will be able to rebuild the life that you deserve. Fulfillment. You will get exactly what you desire. All your wishes will come true. You have to believe in yourself, believe in spirit, change who you hang out with, change your thought process, Whenever I had to deal with a thought or a memory, I flipped it really fast. That was one of my coping mechanisms, is that I thought of something that I loved. Whether I loved pizza at that moment, or I loved my kids at that moment, or my car, or ice cream, or my pets, whatever it was, I flipped it immediately so that I didn't have to entertain that thought or that memory. I do know that you have to spend some time with it, but at the appropriate time. While you're at work is not the appropriate time. And, we have to set aside time to go and do the shadow side, really get deep and find out what triggers you have to work on and what you have to release and what you have to forgive, because you have to forgive them. There's no way around it. In order for you to release the energy and release the damage that they have done and the scars that they have left, is that you have to forgive them. And that was really hard for me to do as well. But I did it, and I feel a lot more free, because when I was hanging on to that energy, I was hanging on to the hate or the sadness or the pain or the thoughts or the memories, it was only dragging me down. And it really was a heavy, heavy, heavy energy that I was taking with me wherever I was going. And at times I could release it here and there, but it wasn't until I really purged it and forgave him and understood that he's on his own journey. He's one of God's children as well. God loves him. And then I started praying for him. I prayed for him to heal. I prayed for him to, find happiness. I prayed for a lot of different things. Find music. I have a few songs of release that really helped, and they go all the way from like crazy grunge rock to a cappella. So there's whatever songs, listen to them, listen to the words, whatever moves you. Listen to the meditation music of releasing. There's some really great guided meditations as well for releasing negativity that you should look into, and pick the one that you like the best. Know that you're not alone. Know that as you do the healing, you'll be able to fulfill your wishes and your dreams. You'll be able to accomplish your goals. The things that they have said in the negative to hold us back are not true. If your best friend was in this situation, you would want to tell them that what they're saying is not true, because you know them very well. You love them. That's not who they are. Well, say that to yourself. You know who you are. We're not perfect. We've made mistakes, but we don't go about making these mistakes on a continual basis. We try to change. We try to grow. We try to raise our vibration. We try to help others. In narcissistics, when they're in that zone and they're being very selfish, they're only thinking about themselves. And, when they come back saying, oh, I miss you, and you want to fall for it because you see something in them, you have to protect yourself. Okay, because they really don't want to change. If they're going to the doctor and they're going to therapy and they're really putting 110% of their energy into being better, then of course, you're an empathic person, you're going to allow them to have some time to change. But if they're not doing the work, don't waste any more time with dealing with that energy. You have a life to live. You have a gift that you have to share. That should be your focus. Your angel message today, guys, is meditation. And it reads, Dear Archangel Raphael, please meditate with me and guide my mind and body to focus upon peace, health, and wellness. So, guys, like I always say, invite the angels in. We have free will, so we have to ask them into our situations. I ask mine in on a daily because I need them around me as much as possible. There's different angels that you can call upon, or you can just call them as a group, whatever you feel comfortable with, but let them in, okay? And let them heal. Go through the process that they're asking you to do, because each one of us will release these things differently. So let them show you the path that's right for you. Go down that path, keep a journal, do what you have to do, call people up, get on these groups that are supportive and loving, and it's all in confidence. Reach out to each other on the channel, reach out to me. I would love to be able to email if you want to keep it private, or we can do public comments, whatever you feel comfortable with. I just want you guys to know that, you're not alone. We are a community, and SHAE and I are very supportive to all of you. We want to be here for you. We're all about healing, raising our vibrations, and helping others. So keep that in mind and let this kind of sink in. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. At least we can chat and try to give ourselves some guidance. Thank you so very much for watching the video. I hope the message helps. If, like I said, you have any questions, shoot me an email, leave me a comment. I would love to talk with you. Take care.